Okay, welcome to this episode of Inside Oriel in association with BetRegal. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Archie Davies this week. Archie, what's the story?
No, all good.
Thanks for joining me. We were supposed to do it on Tuesday, but you were going for a haircut.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better for it now, so yeah all good.
You got in and got it done. Do you want to give your barber a shout out? Who is it?
Yeah, I'll give Shane from B Sharp a little shout out.
There's a couple of these ain't go to Shane and B Sharp, is it?
Yeah, sort of like when I first came here, it was just like you're asking about and little things like that, barbers, and then that was the recommendation, so I've just stuck with that for the last 6-7 months.
Happy enough?
Yeah, no, it does a job, so all right.
There you are, Shane, bit of free advertising for you. Just before we go on and talk about the Rovers game tomorrow night, Archie, obviously the cup draw was made on Tuesday. Galway United, First Division team, obviously flying at the top of the First Division, 16 points clear at the top of the division. It's as tough a draw as you can get, especially away from home, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, well, now that as you progress into the later stages of the cup, there's not going to be any easy games. But I mean, their sort of league standing speaks for itself, and like how they're doing this year is really good. So it's by no means going to be an easy game. So especially away from home, so we're just going to have to be fully at it, and do our best to get a result there. I
was looking at, they've only lost one game this season, 1-14 and drawn 3 of the last 17. So they're in a winning habit. Yeah,
well, there you go. Record speaks for itself, really.
Yeah. Some subplots to it as well. Obviously, you're new to the league and stuff. Darryl's brother Colin obviously plays them. Stevie, Pat, Darryl are all from Galway. There's a lot of those wee sort of stories that make these cup ties interesting. Yeah. You'll be hoping to avoid all of that though. Yeah. Just get the job done.
That's it. Sort of just get in and get out almost, and progress, because just another game closer to a cup final, which is the aim.
What have you? I know you have looked at the Aviva and spoke about the Aviva, especially for new lads coming in. Everybody wants to win the league, but the cup final is the biggest day of the calendar here. It'd be amazing to go and finish the season there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, actually been there myself. Managed to get to an island game against Gibraltar.
Okay, Lou was dishing out the freebies, was he?
Yeah. So I've been there for myself, and it's a great stadium. You'd compare that to the likes of, the top stadiums in England with cup finals. So it's an excitement little. Would be an exciting day out if we were to progress, and that's the aim.
We were at it for 6 years in a row. It was as I said to Stephen there last week. It's only when it's taken away from you. It was becoming nearly a tradition every year that we get to the cup final, but we haven't been there in the last 2 years. But it'd be amazing to get back there again. Yeah, and I mean ourselves as players, new ones coming in, sort of fresh to the league as well. We want to sort of put our mark down as well, so we can be compared to the great teams that have been here before. Yeah, and that's our sort of targets within ourselves as well. Looking back to last Friday in Bray, you ever played in conditions like that? It was tough, wasn't it? To say the least.
Probably not since I was maybe in my school days. I remember playing on sort of because I'm from sort of the coast myself,
right?
And
you
sort of get the wind and the rain. So I remember playing only a handful, but then I forgot how unenjoyable they are, but you sort of just had to get through them.
In fairness to them, the pitch sort of kept, because it was in such good condition, it meant we could get through the 90 minutes. I think any other pitch, it might have been called off.
I think it was a sort of a nice surprise how good the pitch was. But yeah, I mean, it was only sort of the last 5-10 minutes where it sort of started to hold up a bit in places, especially down my side, unfortunately enough. But I mean, we played better than sort of the result shown, I think.
Can't edit that, that's in there.
Yeah, no, unlucky. No, I mean, I think on another day we sort of go there, score 3 or 4, and but no, in the end we just dug in deep, and I think we deservedly got a goal in the end, which was good to avoid sort of penalties, luck of the draw sort of thing. Yeah. But no, we won on good merit.
As I said in the tweet, it was just get in, get the result, and get home. Make sure we're in the draw for the next round, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely get a hot shower as well after the game. But yeah, job done in the end.
Darryl obviously scored the winner, and Sam come on. The two sort of attacking players have come in over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, you're up against them in training. What have you made of both of them? Darryl's obviously a household name here, but Sam, I think, caught the eye when he come on in Bray the other night.
Yeah, no, I think they're definitely two exciting players. I mean, you can't get enough of having sort of exciting players along the front line. So they've both been really good around the place and in training, and they both had quality, which is important.
Yeah. Obviously the cup, we've 2 massive league games before that, starting tomorrow night in front of the RT cameras in Tala. 8 points behind Rovers, 3 behind Derry. We have them in the next 2 games. I think a lot of people are talking title races, and we're not sort of cropping up too many times in the talk. But as I said to Robbie Benson earlier in the week, if we win these next 2 games, you can't have a talk about a title race without mentioning Dundalk. So it's up to us now to put ourselves in that talk over the next couple of weeks.
Exactly like you said, it's up to us really. I mean, we get 3 points, in Tala, then suddenly we're just all looking above us. I think there'll be 5 points to Rovers, and then obviously we've still got to play everyone. So, and teams above and around us will all drop points. No one's going to have 3 points every week. So it's just getting a bit of consistency now between the end of the season so when teams above us do make those mistakes, that we're there to capitalise and put ourselves in the mix, because I think we're more than capable. Yeah,
we've obviously beaten Rovers in the last 2 at Oriel, but we haven't won up there in 4 years, which again we used to have a brilliant record in Tala. It was one of the venues we love going to, but if you can turn that around tomorrow night, it'd be a real statement get into the into the run-in to go up there and take the 3 points tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the result there last time wasn't a true reflection on the game, in my opinion. I think, even before they were down to 10 men, we still had, chances, and we were always, imposing ourselves on them. It's just unfortunate we didn't get those sort of clear-cut chances, right in the end. But no, I found the last time there was a really enjoyable game to play in. I think, it's a great pitch, and, it's the pitch that you don't get to play on every week, for sure. So, we just need to go there and just sort of nothing to lose, and just, enjoy the pitch, enjoy the occasion, and try and get a result, really.
This time, it was around similar time last year we went up, and there wasn't much of a points difference between us, and they obviously won and went on and won it. But at that stage, we were hit hard with injuries. I think this time, 12 months on, you can see the squad. Robbie Benson's obviously back. We played with the academies team this week. We're looking strong going into the most important part of the season now, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think it's a great time for us to peak, because we're doing sort of 11v11s out there in training with 2 11s that are more than capable of going into a league fixture. So the competition for places is now massive. People are starting to up their game in training, because whereas if you're hit by injuries and there's sort of no one in your position, then you can maybe think, even though it's not the best, you can think like, okay, yeah, I'm sort of almost safe here.
Yeah.
But now with everyone coming back, the competition's high, and that'll only bring out the best in everyone, in my opinion. So, competition is great, and it's it's needed, but it's good to have a lot of numbers now for selection and for different options and sort of different occasions in games.
Yeah. From your own point of view, coming towards the sort of final furlong, I think it's fair to say the move has worked out for you. You've enjoyed it. You've won Player of the Month. I'm not just saying it because you're sitting here. I think you might be a good shout for Player of the Year for the fans as well. The fans have taken you. You seem to have enjoyed it. You've played a lot of games. It's worked out well for you coming to Ireland.
Yeah, I don't think it could have worked out much better. To be fair. It's been I was sort of in a point in my career where I was sort of at a crossroads almost. I was either gonna stay at the level I was, not really enjoy it,
right? Okay,
or I was gonna drop down into the spiral of non-league football in England, which it's one of those things. And I just sort of made the decision to try something new and try and sort of rejuvenate my career in a way. And I don't think it could have gotten much better.
What was the thinking there, Archie? Because I was looking at it, right? You've started 57 games since this time last year, which that's nearly 2 seasons in 12 months, and we still have another, fingers crossed, another 12 games to play.
Yeah.
So you could be looking at 70 games in 12 months. So it's not a case of you weren't playing in England. You're obviously you were playing week in, week out. But what did you think? What was the decision that came in your head and said, look, as you say, I want to go somewhere different. I want to go want to go to Ireland, I want to try the League of Ireland. Was it a case of, you come over here, get a couple of good seasons, and maybe go back to a higher level in England, or can you see yourself staying here? Because we've over the past in Dundalk, we've seen lads come from England, Scotland, and they've made a career and a life here.
Yeah.
So what's your thinking now? Sort of 9 months in.
Honestly, football's crazy. Like, I can never say never to anything, but if there was a place to stay and settle, then I'm happy here. So do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be. It wasn't in a case where I wasn't really happy where I was back in England, and I was sort of looking for a way out.
Yeah.
Whereas here, like, I'm settled. Like, there's no way to there wouldn't be a massive reason for me to sort of shy away and sort of leave. So no, like I said before, I'm playing sort of the best football of my career here, and I owe a lot to the club, to the manager and staff here, because they've brought that sort of belief that I might have lost back into myself, and it's paying dividends now, because I feel great. I've played a lot of football, which is good. I was sort of starved of that at a couple of years when I first started out in the men's game. So so it's no complaints from my side, really. Yeah,
Europe, I'm sure, was obviously, it is one of the sort of big factors for players coming here, because there's a chance to play in Europe. You had a taste of it. How disappointing was it to go out in against KA in the sort of manner that we did?
Frustrating, definitely, because you're all eyes on sort of the next tie, which would have been Bruges, an exciting fixture against Bruges. So I think now that I've sort of tasted the couple ties, it was just unfortunate that I couldn't get a bit more, but the aim for next season now is to have those experiences again and go on further. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a league like it this year that's five teams? I'm sure Shells are looking and thinking there. Yeah. A couple of wins in there back in it. It's just crazy the way it's going this year. Like,
I think you've got at least 4 or 5 teams thinking they've got a big chance of winning it this year. So it's definitely exciting. I mean, there's going to be some massive games between now and the end of the season. Not just in our case, but in other cases, whether it's first play second, first play third, etc. So there'll be definitely a lot of eyes on not just our results but the teams around us now, because it's crunch time now. It's getting towards the end of the season, and there's definitely a lot to play for.
What have you made of the standard of it? It's a question we always ask lads to come over. What have you've played in the leagues? You've played in the leagues in England. What's the comparison? To the League of Ireland?
I get asked this question a lot, and it's definitely I still don't have an answer to it, because there's sort of teams in this league where you'd think, they could definitely play at such and such level, and then you've got teams that are sort of like, they maybe struggle in that level. So, but you could say similar for, say, like League 2 and National League teams as well. So it's it's honestly a tough question. I don't really have an answer for it, but the standard definitely was like, it surprised me, and it definitely, I'd say it took me 2 or 3 games to sort of grasp it, get used to it, and then, but I think since then I've sort of kicked on and got better. But I was taken back a little bit at the start, because the quality is still, it's high, it's physical, it's definitely fast paced as well.
Is it better than what you thought? Honestly, is it a better standard, or is it it's probably a bit more physical than what I thought, but the quality's what I expected, or is it?
I mean, it's definitely a higher tempo than I thought. Yeah. The quality, some teams, you'll play there and you're like, wow, they actually got, they've got a bit on the ball. The quality is definitely still high. I mean, I was used to sort of teams maybe playing a lot more direct, whereas here there's definitely more sort of get it down and play. So it's a good. It suits me down to the ground, to be fair.
That's what I was going to say. For you, for the type of player you are, is it a better league to
definitely
to play in and express yourself?
For sure.
I suppose one of the other things I wanted to ask you was, obviously, one of your old clubs, Brighton. A lot of sort of attention over this part of the world because of obviously Evan Ferguson and the way he's taken off. But you left 2020. Are you surprised with how they've gone on and done, or was it always the club was always sort of set up to go and do what they've done over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a sleeping giant at the time I was there. I mean, the facilities there were like second to none. They were like incredible. And, you know, speaking to one or two people that are still there now, you know, they've only sort of improved them, like the facilities, obviously you see now the coaching. I never worked obviously under De Zerbi, but you know, everyone says that he's like just a top coach and he's a crazy guy, but he's definitely he's got them playing some ridiculous football, to be fair.
And I think everybody when Graham Potter left probably thought this could be the end of it, but if anything he's even made them even better.
Exactly. They've gone up a level now, and you'll see that now playing in Europe, which is something I wouldn't have expected them to be doing when I was there. But you know, they've smashed all expectations, and I can see him going one better this year. To be fair, it's a bold shout, but I reckon they'll be in and around the sort of Champions League spots this year.
Would they have been your Hastings? Hastings was where you're from? Is that's 20, 30 miles from Brighton? Is it?
Yeah, it was about 45-minute drive to the stadium, traffic depending. But yeah, it was definitely the best club for me, sort of in terms of where I was living. But yeah, it was definitely some of the best sort of years I had there. They were great. I met some good people, some great players that are still playing, you know, sort of in the top 5 leagues now, internationally as well. And yeah, I look back at those sort of years with, you know, pride as well, because I was there and I did it. I made an appearance as well. So yeah, it was a really good time.
I was reading the interview you did with the Athletic a couple of years ago after you're released. Obviously a tough, and it was during COVID as well, which made it even, you know, a nice WhatsApp. It was WhatsApp come through.
Yeah, I think it was a Zoom call at the time. Actually. Obviously it was a weird summer. It was a weird point as well, because sort of when it was before the actual lockdown, where sort of the training ground was everyone sort of left the training ground and sort of went home. But at the time we thought, everyone was told it'd only be like a couple of weeks to get you back in, finish the season, and then you sort of worry about your contract or whatever. But yeah, no, it was just, I remember I sort of stayed in my flat that I had in Brighton. Yeah. And it got to a point like maybe 4 or 5 weeks where I was like, I don't think we're going back here. I just got myself down the road and went back home. But training every day, sort of doing Zoom calls and stuff. It was a weird time.
Does it take sorry. Obviously it takes you a while to adjust to that and get back into the swing of things. You know, you've obviously come back and you've showed good sort of strength to, you know, put that behind you and get back on with your career. Yeah,
I mean, it's something that everyone's going to experience, I think, at some stage in their careers, sort of like disappointment, sort of rejection, even if you see it coming, like. But it's all about just sort of finding your level, playing as many games as you can, and then, you know, just sort of having the best career you can, and then working your way back up to the top, hopefully.
Tough industry over there at the minute, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's coming through.
It's always tough. I mean, I remember I saw a stat years ago when I was at Brighton that maybe 0.01% or something of kids that, you know, play in the academy at the age of 8 will actually go and play in the Premier League. So you've got to be sort of you've got to be not a pessimist but maybe a realist in a sort of sense where you're not always going to be playing in the Prem week in, week out. You're not going to be like a Bukayo Saka or a Phil Foden. You're going to be a sort of a player that has experienced rejection. You go, you find a level, you do as well as you can, and then you sort of just work your way back up the ladder.
Did you ever think of, I'm done with this, you know what I mean? Or was it a case of, right, okay, it's not for me here, I'll go somewhere else, and as you say, find my level, find a pathway for myself? Or did you ever have a stage where you're like, I think I'll pack it in and do something else? Because like for every young lad that does go on and make a career, there's probably 2 or 3 who don't.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I think in my head I've always had the sort of thought instilled in me that I am going to be a pro. So it's sort of about not taking no for an answer, in the sense where if someone says you're not good enough, okay, I'm not good enough for you, but you know, football's a game of opinions as well at the end of the day. So you might not be liked by a certain coach, but then there'll be a handful of coaches elsewhere that will take you in and sort of see what you're all about. And it's just perseverance, sort of belief within yourself is massive if you're gonna have a career in football, I think.
What were you thinking when League of Ireland come up? Honestly, because I know you were with a couple of lads. Danny Mandry, I think, was at Brighton with you when you were there. League of Ireland come up. What are you thinking? Because it is an avenue now for a lot of English and Welsh and Scottish lads that we've seen over the last 3-4 years. So was it as left field as it might have been sort of 5-6 years ago if it was brought up?
I think maybe I remember lads coming into Brighton sort of that have been signed from the League of Ireland, and you're maybe a bit more naive back then because you think that the Prem is the level and that everywhere else is rubbish. But no, it's definitely. I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I want to try something new. This opportunity came up, and to be honest, I didn't think twice. I just sort of went ahead. I think the sort of space with it coming up and me ending up here was no more than a week or two. Like it was quick, and
you played. I think you played on the Wednesday night or something, and you were here. Yeah, you were here.
I remember I played sort of 2 games that week, Saturday, Tuesday, and then I was here on the Thursday. I think it was a
couple of days after.
So it was definitely quick. It was a weird sort of week or so, but everything happens for a reason, I think, and it's definitely been a good move for myself.
You enjoying your down in Bay State with the lads?
Yeah.
Hayden, Greg and John Martin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good group.
It's a good little house. Yeah, it's a good little house, to be fair. I mean, if there's a game of football on the telly, we're all there on the sofa, sort of crammed in watching it. Films and series, all that rubbish, we're all sort of watching them. Yeah, it's a good house, so I get along with all of them. I mean, I've sort of lived in places where in the past where you sort of don't get along with the people you live with, or they're not your sort of people or whatever. So that's another. I think that everything's just gone well. Everything's gone smoothly on and off the pitch here. 40
minutes from the airport as well, I'm sure is a. Yeah, it's nice. It's easy to go home as well. It's not like you're the other side of the other side of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I've not been home in a good sort of while now, but hopefully that'll come soon. But it's good. I miss the sort of the family, the dog, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But I feel really happy here, and I'm content overall.
You've I mentioned you're on course for 70 games in a year. Yet any stage at all you feel, geez, I could. Wouldn't mind a week off now. I wouldn't mind. You won't be lying on the beach in November, but at least you get a bit of break over Christmas. But has it? You've showed no signs of that it's caught up with you, or it's it's becoming. You're getting a bit tired at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going.
Yeah. I think touch wood.
Yeah,
touch wood.
Touch wood. Make a few jokes. The boys around me are like, "Oh, you played 200 games or whatever."
Yeah.
So. Say if I have like a day off training or here or there, like the pro in their late 30s trying to prolong their career. But I still feel good. I still feel fit. I mean, I did get a bit jealous when I'm seeing all my mates back home on holiday in the summer. But I'll definitely make the most of my break when it comes to it.
It is a strange occurrence for the UK players when they've Christmas off and.
Yeah, I mean,
you can sort of enjoy Christmas.
That would be a first for me. So instead of playing sort of training Christmas Eve, playing on Boxing Day.
Stephen's Day, Archie. Stephen's Day.
Yeah.
It's in Stephen's Day. It's not Boxing Day. Yeah. It's in Stephen's Day.
Stephen's Day.
Had to put him up on that, folks. Yeah, it's in Stephen's Day.
But it'll be a first, but I'll definitely enjoy, sort of time at Christmas, with the family and all that sort of stuff. Friends and family around Christmas, it's the sort of time where everyone's enjoying themselves and where you're sort of one eye on the fixture.
You might have sneaky beer on Christmas Eve.
It wasn't really a thing, but I'll definitely have one or two this year, which that'll be nice. It will be nice.
It would, and it'd be nice, hopefully with a couple of medals around your neck as well. It'd be even nicer, wouldn't it?
Definitely. I mean, it would make the 70 odd games and the no break that bit sweeter. It'll definitely be for something, so I'll have something to sort of bring home and. Brag about almost, but that's the aim now. End of the season is to finish strong and silverware.
Good stuff. Listen, enjoy that. Thanks for coming in. Very best of luck tomorrow night, obviously, and for the rest of the season. It's a big couple of months coming up, but as you say, let's get ourselves into the mix. Thanks for tuning in, folks. as I said, the game is live on RT2 tomorrow night, and then we've obviously Derry here at Oriel next Friday night. So we'll see you all in Tala tomorrow night. Thank you.